have you done for me lately? It's Coons, what have y'all done for us lately? And if there's no answer, the only thing we owe them.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk Too. And tonight we're going to have a conversation with none other than Dr. Short, as you guys can see on the screen. And we're going to talk about what happened last night, actually, while most of us were asleep, and have a discussion in reference to the supreme leader of Iraq is no longer here. I mean, Iran is no longer here. Dr. Short has some information that a lot of us may not have been privy to. As a person that has been in Iran, he has actually been educating myself on those affairs the last few years and understanding that there's some other forces going on here, or what they're trying to do with that region, and understanding it's part of a bigger plan. So, Dr. Short, what's going on?
Well, it's good. This is the first show of the year, last day of Black History Month, last year of my birth month. And since, I don't know, we haven't done a show in how long?
It's got to be October.
I did a show with you in October last year.
I think it might have been October.
Okay. Well,
Ooh.
just, it's been a while. So it's been very interesting.
Everybody kept asking about you, and I'm like, he's all right, he's all right, and I really, before we even get into that, let everybody know what's going on, Dr. Short.
Okay, well, yes, I'm all right. Then no, I'm not. Well, I'm in God's hands. Okay, I'm sitting on the couch. I had a heart attack on 4 years ago, and I told people I have like an incredible turbo cancer and another cancer. When I was in the hospital, literally just a little under a year ago, the doctor that diagnosed me was the doctor assigned to my mother. Let me know in so many words, they expected me to die in 2024. So, no. A lot of experts presumed I'd be dead before now. So I'm here. And so for people, can you imagine? And I'll just be direct with people. If I've got prostate cancer, I don't mind people knowing because we need to deal with it. If you are above 0, you're in trouble as a prostate person, as you know. So imagine if I'm 1650 PSA. Okay. And when I go to see the doctor, when I look at the other people who are stages and this, they look really bad. I'm not trying to do anything with my hair for anyone commenting. And at least it's not a weave. Uh, I'm doing reasonably well for a person that people really expected to be gone years ago. And so it doesn't make sense to them why I'm not in tremendous pain, but still I'm having a battle with this cancer thing. Not for anyone to feel sorry, but just telling you. And imagine while I'm learning how to fight cancer, my mother comes down with ovarian cancer and it kills her in like 9 months. And wow, she almost dies the same day my dad did.
Mm.
And so that was kind of weird. And so it's been battles like that. And also once, if you've ever dealt with death in your family, my father and mother used to have three houses, and the city managed to steal one and underpay my father for it. Tried to take my grandparents' house, and so it got sold at maybe $250,000 loss. And now I've been in a battle to keep people from trying to steal this house. And so I didn't even get a chance to really grieve before battling with people, folks relatives that want stuff, people who never check in on you, but they want coats and jewels and stuff. So it's been really weird between capitalist shit, racist shit, nigger shit, bullshit, shit. But I'm here, and I'm thinking that uh, it's okay, but definitely let people know I have a major, major doctor's thing in April. Pray for me if you can. If you're down for, because I'll just say this to you so you'll know. The doctor was talking about sticking something up my ass every month and me paying him. And I told him, this sounds like a gay relationship I'm not ready for. I don't want anyone sticking anything in my ass. So I'll make a deal with you. If you stick nothing in my ass and I'll still pay you, I'll find my own medicine. But nobody's sticking nothing in my ass. I couldn't get my head wrapped around that. Like, can you imagine to go somewhere every month and have someone stick something and infuse your ass every month? And it
Mm.
messes with your libido, whatever. It just says, damn, that's like death. Hell, it's killed me. Shit. So I've been doing natural stuff. And in fact, the natural stuff, I want to thank all the people that donated. Uh, I was able to give my mother 6 months, thanks to the people who supported me. 6 months. And I think I'll get a lot more. But I think you've told them my Cash App, which, because they attacked, I did the last time I had a Cash App, I did a show on Iran. And I think I told you about that. And they took all four of my Cash Apps. They accused me of doing unlawful gambling. I'm too broke to gamble, but I have a new Cash App. And it doesn't have to be that much. That's the one thing about some of these alternative treatments. There's a thing called transfer factor. It doesn't cost that much, but I want a lot of it. And it's expensive. It runs about 90 a bottle. I want to have like 4 or 5 bottles. And and insurance doesn't cover that. So that's what I've been doing. I ain't chasing white women, although that is what affluent black men aspire to do. But then again, I'm not affluent. But that's the one thing. So on my wish list, I want transfer factor as much as I can get. It's in a blue bottle, and you can cash app me or donate. You don't have to do the whole thing. Don't get a whole bottle. Send $5 or $6, and I'll put that on the damn bottle. But I want enough of those. I think I need to live a little longer. So having said that, but I'm here. Fight with Tethers. Tether tried to kill my mother when she was in hospice here. And then a Tether's involved in a conspiracy to try to steal this house. So I've been battling the city because my mother and father didn't die in vain. And I'm not trying to be homeless. So that's why you haven't seen much. And I'm not that good with technical stuff. I couldn't be a lesbian. All the stuff they know how to use. So I'm not good with, and that's what I was asking. So once I get some help with my StreamYard and some other things, I guess I'll do more lives. Uh, I also, because there's a lot of censorship, and because, as you know, I sent you the letter to the FBI, and these people think I work for Iranian intelligence, which is not true. It's not true. I'm not a spy for anybody. Uh, I'm very careful about what I do. Like I said, I did one show talking about racism, and all my cash apps got canceled. You feeling me? Can you imagine, brother? We use those
Yeah.
donations for stuff, and I was supposed to get an appeal, no appeal. I couldn't do anything. That was so. People need to understand a lot of these things are run by the GCPs, run all this tech stuff, and if you are saying things, they're very, very, very concerned about controlling the narrative of what's happening in the Middle East and on their greater Israel project. And by the way, your show, even the title, if you think the Ayatollah Khamenei is dead, you've been misinformed. So let's just start there. Ayatollah Khamenei, who's been in power since 1989 after Ayatollah Khomeini died. I just don't think he's dead. They tried to kill him in 1982 or 83 when I was in high school, and they wiped out most of Ayatollah Khamenei's political party with one bomb, and he survived it, and he's partially paralyzed in one of his arms. This man was on the battlefield with no guns. That's one of the bloodiest wars in recent history is the Iran-Iraq war. This man's on the front lines with no guns, people. You have to sit down and think over 1 million people died. They're using poison gas. They're doing everything. And this man, ganked up on his Islamic faith, is on the front lines with no gun. That's in 1983. That's what, 40, how many years ago? That's 43 years ago?
Yeah.
43 years ago, he was on the front lines with no gun. He's not a punk. He's not afraid to die. If you understand the Shia Islamic tradition, being a martyr, it's like going to heaven 2 times. He has no problems dying. I heard they killed some of his family. They didn't get him, as far as I understand. I would have heard it. Had he been killed, the people would be in the streets by the millions. Had he been killed, they would have been the millions out in Nigeria. They would have been out in Syria. They would have been out in Lebanon. They would be out in the streets in Iraq and in Afghanistan and in other. There are millions of Shia in India. This would be the equivalent of someone bombing the Pope at the Vatican. That's the worst thing that they could do is kill a political or theocratic leader because it's the equivalent of killing God.
And that's what some of the news reports is trying to say that he's dead.
Well, that's who controls the news.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so this news, if you go on Twitter and all of that, now, I mean, they've got TikTok, they've got Twitter, they just bought CNN. There's no place that does not give you Bibi Netanyahu's point of view or Satanyahu's point of view. And he's already left Israel. He's in Germany, supposedly the worst place in the world for Jews to be. He went to Berlin, of all places, because no one else would take him. Imagine that. Now, mind you, if he's such a righteous, good man, he should be able to go anywhere, but he can't. So let's just start there. He is not dead, and we should give the Iranian Islamic Republic time to say he's dead. But people need to, if they weren't following the news, within the last 2 weeks, this man basically gave his political last will and testament. He named how the government would run, who his successors would be, all of that. Even if he is dead, the people are already in place to handle business. And why would they give people hints or clues to where he is? There was a thing that came up, a gentleman that I met in Iran, the former president Ahmadinejad, just released that they had had an anti-Mossad unit within Iranian intelligence, but it was full of Israeli Mossad moles who were there betraying the government. The thing you need to understand about Iran, Iran is a country with a minimum of 90 million people. Out of that 90 million people, somewhere between 60 to 65%, maybe a little bit more, are Persian or Farsi Iranians. They're the majority. The next largest group are the Azeris. By the way, Ayatollah Khamenei, he is Azeri, like Azerbaijan, Azerbaijan. Those are people that live in the northwestern corner of Iran. On the various fringes of Iran, you have different minority groups. You have the Arabs who live around Karam Shah. You've got Kurds, they're on the west side of the country as well. The Arabs on the west side of the country as well. You've got the Baluchis on the southeast corner. You've got Turkmen. You've got a lot. You've even got Jewish people, lots of them in in Iran. Iran is a diverse country, but the vast majority of the people are Farsi, Persian Iranians. Some of the minority groups, like the Kurds, are somewhere between 7 to 10% of the population. In fact, 10 may be an exaggeration. The Kurds are an insurgent force in every society: Syria, Iraq, Turkey, right? And Iraq, and in Iran. And they had the Kurds staged a revolt against the Islamic Republic in 1979, right? At the same time that the Shah's ass got put out, they tried to get their peace. So you've got Kurds all over, and they're one of the larger ethnic groups of people that don't have a nation state. And when the British and French created what used to be a cross between northeastern Africa, and they called it the Middle East, they deliberately created a map of the Middle East that did not allow the Kurds a nation state. And the Kurds have dirty hands. The Kurds helped kill the Armenians in the Turkish genocide of the Armenians. So the Kurds play a spoiler card. The Kurds supported the American invasion of Iraq. The Kurds supported the takedown of the Assad regime in Syria. The Kurds have fought all of the governments of Turkey since Ataturk, Mustafa Kemal, the Turkish Republic, because they're trying to get their own nation state. And they've got a Kurdistan party in all the different countries, or they're trying to get it. The little Iranian woman that they said didn't have her job on, that got killed, there's just a debate on what happened to her. She's a Kurd. Israel supports the Kurds. America supports the Kurds. Okay, and there are other countries. The Germans support the Kurds. So the little riots and all you saw, A lot of that are people who are paid. You understand that what happened in Iran is that uh, the United States and Israel and other countries deliberately destroy the value of the money that the Iranian people have. Can you imagine if you and I agreed to go out and get some dog and cat with rice, aka Chinese food, right? And we knew that our dinner would probably cost us $60. And we agreed we're going to go to dinner after we worked. And we go to the restaurant, and the price for the meal we were going to get that was $60 turned out to be $280. You'd be angry at the price of gas you paid for in the morning was like a few dollars a gallon. They come back, it's 15. I mean, people can't live if they lose. I mean, literally, the system steals all their buying power from them every day. So the Iranian people, justifiably so, went into the streets to protest that the government should have been more about its business to protect the stability of the currency so the ordinary people can live. They already have the sanctions. And what happened, that guy, Elon Musk, who's in the Epstein papers and files, they used Starlink and other countries smuggled in things to help coordinate a insurgency, a rebellion against the Islamic Republic's government. They killed thousands of people. They have found in the bodies of the dead people Russian and Israeli bullets, not the bullets used by the Iranian security or defense forces. Those riots shut down the day the Chinese and the Russians helped the Iranian security forces shut down Starlink. You get me? But
Yeah.
you had stabbings, rapes, and of the thousands of people killed, when I was in Iran, I stayed with a friend. I'm not going to say his name. I don't want nothing to happen to him. He's called a Basij. Basij are like the Black Panthers of the Iranian Islamic Republic. These are young men who are committed to their country. In Cuba, you have a thing called the Committees for the Defense of the Revolution, Comité en la Défense de la Révolution. I know what it's like to be in Cuba. When you're in Cuba, when you walk down the street and you're not a Cuban, the people in the Committee for the Defense of the Revolution, they know who your black ass is before you get to the end of the block. Everybody knows you. You've been reported. They know everything before it can happen. If you stop and piss in an alley, they will report it because their country's under siege. You have this with the Basij, and these are people who don't have guns. If you go to Iran, I was amazed. I still can't believe when I was in Iran in 2014 that you can cuss out a policeman and tear up a ticket and refuse it, and the policeman not jail you or put their hands on you. Now you've been in New York, you know, Quentin. Then I know what it's like for a policeman to threaten to shoot me for not having a seatbelt on in Manhattan. Okay, I mean, and no back talk, nothing. I know what it's like for a policeman to threaten to shoot me in Boston doing nothing. Right? These guys don't have guns. And they're nice people. You can go and tell them your problem. They'll help you cross the street. It's like having a damn Boy Scout. They killed these people by the hundreds. They were lynched. They were burnt alive by so-called nonviolent protesters. I ask anybody listening, and we're going to put this in black and white terms because our people aren't that sophisticated. You mean to tell me if even 3 or 4 white cops were set on fire by black people at just one city, that we wouldn't have martial law across this country, that the police would be out shooting, beating, jailing. I mean, they'd be after people not even in the streets. Come on. Tell me that that wouldn't happen here. I'm not talking about hundreds, talking about 1 to 2, 3, 4 white cops killed by organized black mobs. They were coming with the helicopters and tanks. I saw that in the 60s. If you think that the Iranian government was brutal, you need to look at your government here and how they dealt with Newark and Detroit and Patterson and, yes, Washington, D.C., where the cops, people were out with machine guns and tanks and helicopters. And in D.C., no police died in 1968. I don't think any police were killed in Newark. I don't think any police were killed in Detroit, but a whole lot of black folk got killed. In Los Angeles in 1992, can you imagine if 3 or 4 police had been killed, how they would have handled it? So then let's go to Iran, supposedly a dictatorship, completely fascist. Nobody has any rights. Everybody's hungry and beat down. And they're killing hundreds, if not thousands, of law enforcement, setting police stations on fire. And you don't think that that would make people come for them?
Mm.
Just ask. I mean, the answer is it's true. They have killed white folks who rioted. You need to look at the labor strikes and where they'd go through and just murder people in West Virginia, in Detroit, 1920s, 1930s. The United States has the most brutal labor history of any country practically that's modern and Western advanced. Okay, and the United States has been behind the mass killing of workers in other countries like Colombia and Chile and Haiti and Panama and Nicaragua. I mean, a global thing. So, I mean, all of this concern about human life, and wait a minute, they keep looking for this big magic number to make people hate Iranians. 1 week it's 600, and it's 15, 20, 30,000 have been killed by the police. They're killing their people. And says, okay, let's say that's a number. If 30,000 were true, it isn't half of what's been killed in Gaza that we get in trouble criticizing. They're passing laws in places like Ohio and Florida. You can't criticize people who go on TikTok and boast about raping and killing children. If we cared about human life, hundreds of thousands of people have been killed and displaced and raped in Sudan. But they're dark skinned, so they don't matter. So, what makes Iran so bad? It's simple. The folk in Israel don't like Iran. Iran is resisting that colonial racist project. And there are a lot of people with money that are GCPs that fund politicians. And they control the media, and they want Iran destroyed. And so in anything bad about Iran, or anything that can be said bad to be made true about Iran, is so. As I told an Iranian person who says, why should we have unimportant people like you come to our country? And I says, well, I hear your point, but do you know, if I really wanted to get paid versus a free trip to see you and eat your bread that doesn't have any pepper on it, I could just say, you guys have lied and manipulated me. And man, I could hang with the Zionists, travel the world to get paid and talk about you guys not being worth a damn. And he says, "You wouldn't do that." I says, "But you know what? There are a lot of people that would. In fact, most of the people that would sell out to the Zionists are in your country and they look like you." Uh, what I say about things I believe in, I say it because I know it to be true, not because someone's going to give me something. I said, so here I am having difficulties finding jobs and opportunities for speaking out, and you call me unimportant. Why would anyone lose their job over a person like you? So now the next thing we got to say, it's a lie that all Iranian people are poor and hungry. This is a lie. There's a place that anybody, you get a chance to go to Iran, make certain that you go to northern Tehran. Northern Tehran is as nice, if not nicer, than Westchester County, New York, Hollywood, Palm Beach, Potomac, Maryland. You pick any luxurious neighborhood, there's some rich ass Iranians that live good, foreign cars, and they may even have helicopters. I mean, big, big homes, palatial homes. They have nice furnishings. These people live like kings and queens. These people are not broke. There are low income Iranians and low income people everywhere. But the really, really, really rich Iranians, they're the ones that you have to think about because these folks want to have as much money as they can have. And the sanctions and all, the stance of the Islamic Republic against Israel in favor of the Palestinians is biting them pocket and biting them on the butt. Some of them don't like the government. I mean, why have a Lamborghini when you could have a jet? So, and there are a lot of people who have traveled abroad that have been students or gone overseas, and they get recruited by various countries, United States, Israel, England, France. And there's been a psychological war waged against the Iranian people. They were talking about this. This was a cover story and either Time or Newsweek magazine talking about the war over the minds of young Iranians. The French media, the BBC, the American and other do everything they can to make Iranians feel like they live in the worst country in the world. How do I know that's effective? All I need to do is look at Black Americans who have a media tell them how inferior they are, how stupid they are, how they don't have anything, how they've never done anything, how they'll never be anything, and that everything is better that is white. White people have it all. And there are Black folks who have money who want somebody that drinks Mountain Dew with no teeth to be their best friend. Okay. They hate and look down on everything Black. That you can't convince them. In fact, they'll get angry. I can say this to you. I know what it's like to work with people, to like offer service. And it's presumed if you're Black, it's inferior. If it's white, it's good. I know that as a teacher, white teacher running bullshit, handing out donuts, not teaching, they thought they were getting something. By the way, the white person had a teaching certificate. I've got 3 masters and a doctorate. I was seen as less than a white guy who didn't have an undergraduate degree. Why? The Black kids looked at my color. They've been propagandized that Black is inferior, Black is dirty, Black is stupid. And I would say about 75% of Black folks, maybe 80% of Black people have very strong feelings of, of inferiority, strong feelings of inferiority. You couldn't get them to believe that there was any worth in anything Black. And I've seen this in Libya. I remember I had a friend, and I was trying to tell my friend in Libya that Libya had its issues, but there's no homelessness there. There's no hunger. You don't. And this person exploded, began yelling at me about how terrible Libya was,
Mm.
and until the revolution, so-called revolution. And then he sent me a note. Told us the last time. I guess he's dead. He was from Sirte, same ethnic group as Gaddafi, and he kind of apologized to me. You were right. And I told him, I don't want to be right. I want you to be alive. I don't want to win. This wasn't a contest. I wasn't trying to force you to be in a cult or a groupie. I was simply telling you, these people won't make life better for you. Shit, we've been dealing with them 400 years that haven't made life better. So the same kinds of manipulation that's been done through the CIA and other people doing psychological warfare is done to the Iranians. And I must say, the Iranian government, where it has truly failed, it has been, and I told people this, there was a conference on racism. I didn't get invited because people felt they couldn't control me, and they can't. But I was interviewed and I told them, your biggest fight isn't with Israel or America, it's with your young people. You're losing them. You've got to tell them. For example, if these these Iranians that you see in the news that are celebrating the Ayatollah being dead, if those can be taken to be true, if you were to show them that in America, folk eat people, rape them, chop them up, mass bury them, steal their organs, drink their blood, these people would want no part of America or France or England. But in Libya, they did not tell people about anything outside of their country. They consider that keeping people innocent. It's sort of like when you talk to people. Let's say I go to a church and I want to try to explain to people something. You can't tell them all the gory stuff about all the sores you get in the inner lining of your rectum if you do this. That would just wear people out. You give people a taste without forcing the whole buffet down their throat. In fact, that's how most people are. Most folks' brains are like power save. Most people don't want to devote too much thought to what's really going on. And in the case of a lot of these governments that are Islamic, I know what it's like to do a TV show and explain something, and they decide to edit it so people can't hear what was said. Uh, they thought it was too much for the audience. So their censorship hides reality from their own people.
Hmm.
Same way, I'll give you an example. Some of your people listening might be LGBTQ. They've been heard, they've been told, oh, Iran, they just kill every gay person. Gay people just beaten and they're terrorized and they're hunted and it's and okay, I heard this. I mean, I wasn't so much. I mean, I thought it's a bad thing if you got gay cousins and so forth. You don't want anybody mistreated. I went to Iran. Their gay people is out, but their gay people don't strut and act like the ones here in America that are just out of order. And in Iran, the government pays for everybody's sex change. If you are a woman, they're gonna help you. They'll change your birth certificate. You don't have to fight. They'll help you get married. Sound like they're persecuting gay people? They give them whatever they want. You want to be a woman, want to be a man, they're gonna help you be a man. But you can't go back and forth. You have to decide, what are you going to do? In Iran, you have to be a man or a woman. You can't flip flop. The people that get in trouble are the folks who want to consistently disrespect the community mores, and they get dogged. You get me? But the image we have is a man, if you even look at another man, they're gonna hang your ass from a tree. Not exactly. No, not exact. That's not what they're doing. It happens to some people. You get where I'm coming from. We don't know anything about their country, and they're not going to let you know. There are a lot of gay people leaving Iran because they don't want the sex change. I want to mess around with men, but I want to look like a man. And the Iranian government says you can mess around with a man, but you have to be a woman, right? You don't
It's
have to
like
be born a
it's like
biological.
we fall for propaganda as long as it fits what we want to believe.
Right. You can have the man, just be a woman. We'll help you. We'll pay for it. It's free. Don't suffer as a woman in a man's body, right? On a certain level, isn't that compassionate versus people having to sell drugs and rob people and to try to pay for a sex change? They'll give it to you. But that's not the image we have. We have an image that Iranian women don't have any rights. It's not Saudi Arabia. Women drive cars. Women do what the hell they want to do. They even changed the laws. Women don't have to wear hijabs anymore. They don't do
And that
everything.
was after the Shah fell, right? Because post Shah, during the Shah, it was totally different.
Post Shaw, they changed recently. Some people have said, "Hey, look, if we're going to go forward, we can't not listen or hear the people. We got to make some reforms." So the old dude says, "Okay, we don't want our country to fall apart. If they want their hair to fly in the wind, they can do it. They can start doing a range of things. There's a lot of stuff that's harsh, that's puritanical, but I think it's harsh and puritanical if someone wants to teach your child that their behind is a vagina, and you say, I don't want my child to be in this, you can't get an exemption,
Mm.
right? I mean, it depends. No society is perfect. You want perfection, get right with God so you can go to heaven. On this earth, there's going to be adversity and disappointments. I'm not trying to defend the Islamic government. I'm certain that there's stuff they get wrong, there's corruption, but there's corruption in Israel. Bibi Netanyahu has all this stuff against him. It's amazing. The American public doesn't know. So let's go to now. Bibi Netanyahu has been pushing for a war against Iran for 30 plus years. The the Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin, who was murdered, and Yitzhak Rabin's widow blamed Netanyahu for her husband being killed by the extremist, settler, racist Zionists. They killed him for halfway dealing with Palestinians. There's an element amongst Israelis and people who support this extreme Zionism. They will kill, rape anybody that gets in their way. That includes Jews. Nobody's exempt from these people's extreme behavior. So Netanyahu has been on a mission to destroy Iran. 21 years ago, I was working in APAC party. And Howard Dean, former governor of Vermont, Ari Fleischer, a White House spokesperson, and others were there. It was announced that Iran would have a nuclear bomb in 2007. Well, 19 years later, they don't have this bomb. But this was all about Iran has to be destroyed. It has to be destroyed because they're going to have a bomb and they're going to use it. This was 19 years ago. No, it was 21 years ago that they said Iran would have a bomb. And Iran was at the table. This is twice within 8 months that the United States has had a negotiation with Iran, and they've attacked them at the negotiating table. twice. How are they the bad guys? Come on, OG. You used to be out in the street. If we came and had a gang meeting and I pulled my gun out, started shooting people at the table, who would have another meeting with me? They came back. They've done everything to make this work. But until people understand the greater plan of Israel, which is to have a part of Turkey, all of Lebanon, all of Jordan, like the northern quarter of Saudi Arabia, the eastern half of Egypt, the northern quarter, I'm sorry, the western part of Iraq and part of the northern quarter, and a significant part, if not all, of Syria. If they can't have that, they're not happy. Our American ambassador, Mike Huckabee, said that they should just take all of it. But think about that, people. There are about 18 to 20 million people in Jordan. All those folks would have to be moved. And by the way, maybe about 13 million of them are Palestinians. Lebanon's got 5.5 million people. Syria has 30 some odd million people. I don't know, but I'm assuming that the eastern bank of the Nile part of Egypt is going to have Egypt has a population of about 130 million people. So maybe what, 25 million people? Where are all these people going to go? And what gave them, and Turkey's got so many millions, and that part of Saudi Arabia's got some. Where does everybody go? Who gave them? You're going to tell me God told you 3,000 years ago, 4,000 years. Now you've got to kill off and run off what, 60, 70 million people? While you cry about the 6 million that got taken out in World War II, you've got to move maybe 60, 70, 10 times your losses if you actually lost 6 million. You you've got to get all these people just have to get the hell out or else. I don't see how that's going to work peacefully. I don't see, there's no way that that can be done. I don't have the right to exist because you want something. And you say, you're an atheist, you won't take a DNA test because you don't want to find out that you're not a person that the promise was made to. You're not heir to it. And this is all strange. Now you're doing a genocide in Gaza. I hope it's not 500,000 people that are dead. But I mean, you're starving them, bombing them, raping them, destroying everything. You're now on the West Bank doing stuff. How much will you need? They made it out that Hitler, you kept giving Hitler stuff. The more you gave Hitler, the crazier he got. I wonder, seems familiar, right?
So, Dr. Short, we talking about a displacement. If they successfully do what you had told me before about the Greater Israel, and then you guys can look it up on Google. What is the Greater Israel? If they complete this task, it will be a displacement of 60, 70 million people.
Yes.
Wow.
How do we justify that? And by the way, you said it's God. You're telling me it's a God of the New Testament, Old Testament. Well, thou shalt not steal. I guess, except for if you're GCP. Thou shalt not kill, except if you're Israeli. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. It's as if they've got a religion that says whatever gets me off is right. And if you disagree, if you question me, that's the same as putting people in a poisonous gas chamber and murdering them with tattoos. It's like shooting them and putting them in a mass grave. Just questioning, just looking, just noticing is an act of total hatred and insanity worthy of death. Everybody's not going to go for that three-card Monty, that gaslighting three-card Monty that's been running the last 81 years. This is 2026. The Holocaust, as they claim, ended in 1945. 81 years ago this May. 81 years ago. How long must everybody subsidize you for this happening? And since in this 81 years, look at what you've been doing to your neighbors.
About going
Okay.
to your neighbor, talk about going to your neighbors trying to get some sugar and butter.
No, imagine going to your neighbor's house and pulling a gun and saying, "Get the fuck out." And if you try to come back, I'm going to call the police, which is basically what America's the police. So what? Uh, so back to Iran. Let's just talk about this. They've been talking about this war for forever. And if you didn't hear, Donald Trump had a meeting in 2024 with Bibi Netanyahu. He did a Ronald Reagan. Remember, Ronald Reagan's people met with the Iranians and got the Iranians to refuse Jimmy Carter's entreaties to solve the hostage situation, which would help Reagan win the election. What happened in this instance is Bibi Netanyahu with Trump, which is illegal, and there is a law going back to the 1790s. It may be called the Logan Act, if I'm correct. There is a law where American private citizens have no business engaging in diplomacy on for themselves or on behalf of the United States. It's illegal. But Donald Trump met with them and they agreed to refuse all the ceasefire agreements that Biden was trying to put out to help him in the polls to win the election for Kamswala. Mm-hmm. And the deal by not stop for him to not end the killing of the Palestinians and the Hezbollah people in Lebanon. Donald Trump would say, okay, when I become president, you'll have the ceasefire, make it look like I'm a deal maker better than Biden. And then I promise you, I'll kick the Iranians in the ass for you. This is the agreement that Trump made. And so this is the second time that that Bibi has been able to yoke Trump around on a chain of their agreement and to attack the people. It's just two times. And let's include the riots. It's three times that they've tried to undo the government in less than a year. Part of the reason is the Israelis are afraid that the satanic spell of blindly thinking, oh, these are God's holy chosen people, and they just have to kill all the Arabs so they could be happy, right? Everyone's not buying that anymore. So what do? You can get TikTok, that's not working. You can get Twitter, that's not working, right? You can keep doing these different things to try to finesse controlling the minds of the American people. You can own all the newspapers. I mean, Bezos has the Post, they got the New York Times. The American public isn't listening to the Shoah Holocaustianity narrative. And now people want to know what's going on. And when you see people killing babies and women, bombing hospitals, and and you're saying I'm a victim 80 years ago, I'm saying, but you shot you shot a baby in the head today. And it is not that I don't care about what happened 80 years ago, but I just saw you kill someone. And there's so much more. So Bibi had this. We also know that all of these groups organize Jewry owns a significant stake in all political parties. And these people are in their pockets, like Wacko, Apac Shakur, Hakeem Jeffries, and and fuck Schumer, and on the other side, Johnson. And I'm gonna just tell everybody. By the way, I pray to God that I'm wrong, but the Speaker of the House has such a creepy feel. You know, I've been honest with people. There were predators and pedophiles around me when I was young. I have no evidence. This is an opinion. I feel like the Speaker of the House is a pedophile or a predator of some kind. I believe it in my heart. I have no evidence. It's an opinion. And in particular, I want to know what's going on with Speaker of the House Johnson and his black son that he don't want no more, that they adopted, you know, because, he be, what's that song? It seems like he's, what's the song? Uh, oh, his black son could be doing a hip hop, please, please, please. Please, please, please. You know I done you wrong. You know I done you. That boy, Johnson, take my hand. Johnson, please don't. And I want to be your Peter Man. Right. This boy, he won't acknowledge what, and this kid be just begging, "Yeah, well, please take me back, Daddy. I want to." And it's as if he got the juice out of the boy when he's young. It's like, I need somebody. I need, I need some new meat. You were nice. You came out of foster care, but that got some bass in your voice and all that facial hair. I can't get it up with that. So I swap you out. I'm not saying it's true. That's how I feel. You and I've had this conversation about pedophiles and predators, right? And it's weird. And I'm saying to people, when you've had it happen to cousins or near things, you get a feel for deviance. And I just feel it. I always felt like there was a chance that our number one person in the White House may have like boinked his daughter. I didn't say he did, but she got an abortion when she was a teenager, and she was out there modeling and all that kind of stuff. Hmm. And her and Melena don't get along like it's two women fighting over the same man. It's straight, and he does everything she say, and he don't listen to nobody. Hmm. Right. And Bibi
Mhm.
Netanyahu, who I think is a predator, I can't prove it, but I wonder if him and Kushner right got it on. Because Kushner never, Bibi can't get along with anybody but Kushner. Everybody like Kushner. I mean, everywhere he goes,
The
just people
father or
just
the
hand
son?
stuff to him.
The father, right?
Um, no, the father was the one that set up your governor with that man and got
Yeah.
put in jail. And that's why Chris Christie couldn't get in the cabinet, because the Kushners hate Chris Christie. And that's why Chris Christie hates Trump, because he put Kushner's father in jail for setting up two dudes to play urban cowboy shit with each other, right? And play bucking bronco. And this is what happened. You're from Jersey.
Look
Am
it
I
up.
lying?
Look it
Am
up.
I lying? Am I
It's all
lying? I
there.
want you to. Okay, it's there.
It's
And
all there.
anytime you tell me you're a grown ass man with the money, with the job, and you come and you stay in your best friend's son's room in his bed, and then you guys are all close year after year, and there's never BB doesn't get along with nobody constantly. He can't keep a cabinet, but he never lose Jared Kushner. Jared Kushner never has no problem. I'm just trying to tell y'all. Okay, I just rose to tell you. I'm over the hill and everywhere trying to tell y'all. I believe that they're too close and it ain't to heaven. And there's something wrong there. I don't care. I would, by the way, make me wrong. Make him just the most wonderful, upright person in the world, and it didn't happen. But when you look at All these predators, and they're disproportionately across the country. Jewish. Look at the Epstein files, people. I've gone through hundreds of them. Man, it's like being at a bat mitzvah and a bar mitzvah. It's like being it's like being at a synagogue. People need to get into Kabbalah. They need to find out that in Talmudic Judaism, having sex with kids is cool. I mean, gayness is cool. Who's behind the whole transgender movement? Who created the term homosexual? Who had all the blackmail papers on Hitler and the crew? Those books they burned were dossiers on people's sexual lives that Goebbels and them burnt up. The Jewish gays had everybody's business. And when Hitler came to power, they had to burn up all the stuff. Adolf Hitler himself may have been a male prostitute. You know, no wonder all the little racist Nazis swing both ways and love Hitler. Even Dick Fuentes loves Hitler. I know why. He thought he's a nice guy. Be wearing tight uniforms and shit, got a mustache cut in half. Just putting it out there. This stuff is real. Now, I just want to say that Kushner, I hope, because Kushner do be looking a little like, what is her name? Kathy Lee Curtis, and looks a little bit like Julia Andrews. You know, the hills are alive with the sound of music. Right. And so and look at how he's in the middle and how everybody likes him. No one ever disagrees with him. What does he know? What does he have that everybody just Kushner going, everybody agree? I think Kushner's a Mossad asset. I also think that Stephen Miller, who's with Trump, is a Mossad asset. And I do believe that they have all kinds of filthy stuff on everybody. I've always said on all my things, Washington, D.C. is a nasty city. It is shaped like a busted pussy with a dick sticking out of it called the Washington Monument. You know, I'm just saying. And I don't mind if people get mad at me. It's true. So think of it this way. Trump also had to go to war because Bibi and them have his stuff. Now, in 2016, I always preface this, I had with my late teacher, Dr. Suleiman Yang, who's gone, and others who've gone on, but I do have a living witness that Dick Gregory cussed me out and told me that he had seen pictures of a certain person that's got a high office in America having sex with minors. I disagreed and said it's not true and got cussed out and called nigger by Dick Gregory, who cussed me out for about 7 minutes. Told me I was stupid, I was dumb, I was an effed up MF. And he swore up and down that someone would not win the presidency in 2016 over this information. I didn't say it. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying that Gregory cussed me the hell out in Tasty Diner in Silver Spring, told me I was stupid, I was a dumb motherfucker, all this other kind of stuff he called me.
Man,
Okay.
listen,
He just went
shout out
on
to
and
Dick
on.
Gregory,
So
man. He gave us the ancestor gave us
I
a lot.
acquiesced. I acquiesced and shut up. And he said all kinds of stuff. And I just says, okay, Mr. Gregory. And says, more than okay, MF. I says, okay, sir.
I
Stop
didn't
saying
ask you
okay,
to talk.
MF.
I didn't ask you to talk. Just listen to what I'm saying.
And he just cussed me out and told me that Trump was all this. And I'm like, okay. And you're a moron for supporting him and all this other kind of stuff. Told me how stupid I was. So he said that they had information, the Russians had it, other people had it. But you see what's happening now? I think I talked about this on one show with you that I don't know. I don't know nothing. I'm not, I wouldn't put that unless I had some reason to suspect, right? So here we are years after. Dick Gregory died in 2017. It'll be 9 years in the fall since Dick Gregory passed. I think he died in September 2017. Now we have all these Epstein files. We know that the Iranians hacked and got information on the Trump campaign and threatened to use it years ago in 2016. We know that the Ayatollah Khamenei has promised to release scandalous details, more than what people know about, on the president. We also know that the Israelis use these things to blackmail people as well, that Bibi Netanyahu used blackmail to bully Clinton with Monica Lewinsky, who I believe is an asset of Mossad, or CNN, a person that's serving their purpose. So we've seen this before. And remember, Bill Clinton went to lie about the pussy he didn't get, and he didn't put a cigar. I mean, and he did put a cigar to pussy. I'm thinking maybe that's the biggest thing he had to put up there. You know, you know, necessity is the mother of invention. Maybe, you know, okay. And so our government, I'm just telling you, and Lindsey Graham, as I said, when he reminds me of Angela Lansbury trying to change lifestyles, when you start looking at the very questionable people and how they have these positions, what they have on Huckabee, how he can't think or do anything except find out it's because they got these preachers on tape. They got everybody. They do. And they're the same ones promoting all this free love. They run the porn stuff, get you into it. And then because you're a Christian and you got something to fear, you then try to cover up and lie about what you did. So what you really have is a situation of a government that is completely compromised. And what they want the U.S. to do is to fight and kill people in Iran because Israel can't fight them. They're too big a piece for them to bite off. It's like an ant trying to eat a buffalo. Even if the ant wanted to, it can't. Or it's sort of like a pygmy trying to screw 2 tons of fun.
Hey, Dr. Short, did you see the interview that Tucker Carlson did with with Huckabee?
I saw parts of it.
Oh my! It literally looked like he was talking to a citizen from another country.
He was talking to a citizen. He's a white evangelical. These people supported slavery, apartheid, Jim Crow, lynching, Nazis. They're on the wrong side of everything, and yet they call themselves Christian. We've been dealing with this for 400 years. That guy Hogshit, who's the Secretary of Defense, who's he remind me of? Trying to think. It's- he looks like Flo from Alice's Restaurant, remember? And
Mel's
he's
Diner.
yeah, he's so annoying. I mean, the guy's makeup and all this kind of stuff. All of these weird, hateful people. They've got perverted lives, and they hate Black people. And there's a correlation. There's a book, I think it's called The Pink Swastika, or The Pink Triangle, one of the two. And it talks about the racism and Satanism and homosexuality of Nazis. And wherever you see all this just incredible hatred, particularly Black men, we have to deal with this thing very quickly. I call it the penis gap. When I feel like my dick is smaller than yours, I feel like I got the short end of the stick, of the procreative stick, and I'm angry because my dick is so small. God gave you Kibasa and gave me a Vienna, right? And I'm angry at you. To me, if you said you believe in God, talk to his ass. Maybe he'll help you out. Don't be mad at me. If you go through the Epstein papers, you'll find that Epstein will complain about dick size and fertility because Epstein couldn't keep it up. There's nobody that was with Epstein that said that shit was good. Okay. He had little shrinky winky, you know, French green bean sized penis that nobody liked, and he's probably surrounded by limp dick, ugly white men that couldn't talk to a woman if she was on mind control drugs,
Hmm.
and that's what you have. And you look at take someone like Elon Musk, who looks like he's messed out half the time. You mean you got billions and billions of dollars, and there's nothing about you that could make a woman want to stay? All these people that have all this money, and by the way, Bill Gates, who looks like he looks like a gecko with the weave on, and I've seen him in person. He's very ugly. He's a wicked man. He has a body odor. I said it, and really bad skin. And even as women and out screwing prostitutes, and you're one of the richest men in the world, you could clone yourself a bitch, right? I mean, I don't respect any of them. Now, let's talk about war. Trump's ass against the war, the economy's in the toilet, all kinds of stuff are bad. You even have Marjorie Taylor Greene turned on his ass. You've got all kinds of people sick and mad. And a war is a great time to get the attention off of you. You're afraid you're going to lose in the midterms. And so here we go. Iran has some of the best scientists in the world. You can't kill them. They've got so many. They have not wanted nukes, refused them, but they do want deterrent military force, and they are in the position to use it. Each year they get stronger. And every step America makes, they have a counter step. The United States kicked Maduro. Didn't you see Maduro walking like he was a mulatto rapper and shit, a biracial rapper when he was walking? Got to put
They
him
put him
out
in the
there.
sweat. They put him in the sweatsuit.
He was walking like Richard Pryor was in Stir Crazy when they came to We
Yeah, we
Bad.
bad. We bad.
Yeah, he was walking. It was really funny watching him walk. And so you took out Venezuela, which was selling sanctioned oil, which it offers a significant discount as well. There are a lot of things that are within oil. As you know, oil has to be refined. Heavy crude, cheap, no good crude has lots of tar, pitch, plastics, things that can be used. Like a lot of the cheap things you get from China that you wonder how it's because the Chinese are getting sanctioned oil that may be $6, $7, $8, $10 cheaper a barrel than if they buy it from unsanctioned oils. So the Chinese who have all these rolls, well, they get the cheap oil from Venezuela that's rich in tar and pitch. You can surface your highways and all. Venezuela used to give this dirty oil. Once America cut them off, then they go to Iran. Every time, so the Iranians are the big winners of them taking Maduro. They should give his ass a peace prize like Trump wanted one. So the Chinese are helping Iran. The Iranians have been countering the Americans by helping Putin fight the Ukrainians because the stuff going on in Ukraine is still related back to Jews. The president, whatever, the dictator of Ukraine, he's Jewish. And they were involved in human trafficking and human experimentation and drugs and all this other kind of bullshit. And they've been fighting them, helping Putin, and Putin's giving them. And I think that the Chinese and the Russians have entered into or will enter into soon military agreements to give them better and better technology. In fact, we need to pray for everybody. I never felt sorry for racist ass white sailors. I grew up in the military neighborhood. The most racist ass people under me, the white folk in the military. But I want to remind people when they use those Moab bombs supposed to destroy Iran's nuclear capacity, not all them shits work, which means the Iranians have gotten some. And the Iranians are like the Japanese, or the Iranians are like white folk in the black music. You know how they steal black people's music and try to make it like they had it first? Anything that the Japanese or Chinese see, or the Iranians see, they can remake it. So do you realize they've had 6 months to figure out what to do with the Moab bombs they had? Can you imagine if they took the warhead off of a Moab bomb? and put on one of their hypersonic missiles and they fire that damn thing that can go 30, 40 feet through concrete, I'm sorry, no aircraft carrier has 20, 30 feet of steel to keep a Moab bomb from going through. That shit's gonna cut through that thing like like a black dick in the white virgin on the scrimmage team at a major university out west. Okay, the thing's going to the bottom of the ocean. I don't want it to. I don't want anyone. I've got family in the military. I want people, please, brothers and sisters. I don't care if you're from the brokest ass part of the South and you don't see any other way out. Get your asses out of the military for right now.
Because
Let these devils.
they bombed the base in Bahrain and in Dubai.
They bombed bases in Iraq. They bombed bases in Saudi Arabia. They bombed bases in Qatar. They bombed about 19 places. Okay. They're gonna and they are using their junk. They're not even using their best stuff. They're using their drones. People seem to forget the Iranians stole. They did something to manipulate a drone back in 2009, 2010. And made an American drone land in Iran, and they've already re-engineered it. So the Iranians, anything that you drop or using them, that shit doesn't blow up. They will remake that shit to use on your ass next time. The Chinese are about to give them, if they haven't already done this, give them surface-to-surface missiles that can go out about 300 kilometers, so maybe 130 miles. That means that the ships go anywhere near, and this is what the Iranians are trying to do, is get the American fleets to get closer. Closer, closer, closer. And they'll sink those shits if they can. And the point is that it's an attritional war. Iran can't beat the United States any more than this Arivo bitch from Nigeria can outsing Jennifer Hudson. Okay, she can get on stage. In fact, and I wish she sang like Miles Davis. She's so ugly. You know, Miles Davis turned his back on the audience. She should do that shit. That's my suggestion to help her appeal. We don't mind. We can barely stand hearing you, but we don't want to see you too. Okay, Arivo, ugly woman, evil, and there's something wrong with her. Like that bitch that ran Essence Fest. I hate Essence now. Now I don't want nothing to do with it. Let me just say to you that the Iranians have had surface-to-surface missiles for close to 40 years. God knows the range. If they've got stuff that can go 700 kilometers, they may already have surface-to-surface missiles that could hit those ships out there, and they're waiting, but they'd rather get closer in. They're in an attritional war. They can't beat the United States, but this is what everybody needs to understand. The United States and Israel were running out of missiles last year. At this point, if I'm understanding what I've been following, the United States Navy and all may have 2 weeks worth of missiles and ordnance to fire at the Iranians, just 2 weeks. And understand some of these things cost money. So if the Iranians can put up a junk drone, that costs $1,000, $2,000 to make, and a $2 million missile shoots the shit down. We taxpayers pay for that. So if they send a whole bunch of these, bargain basement welfare drones at our positions and we're using our good shit, we're going in the hole. Let me just give you an example so you can follow me. In World War II, one of the greatest weapons that nobody talks about that changed the nature of warfare was the bazooka. The bazooka cost no more than $50 to make. The shells for the bazookas were about $10, $12. It cost the Germans about $200,000 to make their tanks that were the best in the world. Do you understand? If everybody has a bazooka in their units, almost anybody with the $50 weapon can take out a $250,000 weapon Where's the money going to come from to keep replacing the $250,000 thing? You see, warfare is economic and it's production as well. America has deindustrialized. They do not have the capacity right now to make a lot of the weaponry necessary to do all this belligerent shit that they're trying to do. The Germans used to just run over everybody with their tanks. Once the American soldiers became familiar with the bazooka, if you're familiar with the Battle of the Bulge, the reason that the Americans were able to fight the Germans with their very good tanks without the good armor was that some of the soldiers learned how to use the bazookas with fucking the Germans up, lighting their asses up. And you can carry a bazooka anywhere. It's almost like your dick. You could take it anywhere you go. A bazooka is not heavy, and you can take out something huge. You can hit it so many different directions. The Germans had to change their whole warfare pattern because who wants to get blown up in the tank off of like a small piece of steel? All that training, you still get fucked up. And a person could be anywhere in the bushes. You can't see them. The German tankers were used to fighting anti-tank weapons where you had to almost be visible to attack. It's the same sort of principle. The Germans made really nice weapons in World War II, but they were costly and it took more time. The British had a thing called the Bren gun. The Americans had their rifles and things. When you make things inexpensive that are effective, you can outproduce, outkill. And even if you have high losses, you can replace them. America is not in this position. And those ships, my friend, naval warfare has really been out for almost 46 years, going back to the Falklands, when the Argentines sunk a British ship or two with Exocet missiles, surface-to-surface missiles. The issue is that most countries have not used surface-to-surface missiles because the countries that they would fight have nukes. The Iranians don't give a fuck. So if the Iranians may have the capacity to sink all of our ships and their hypersonic missiles that can go from Iran to Israel, they may have one with the distance to hit the Gerald Ford or the other one, forgive me, the Kennedy or whatever the hell the name is, Lincoln, whatever. The other aircraft carrier in the Mediterranean, they could probably hit that shit with a hypersonic missile. If you fired hundreds of missiles or dozens at one time, it could overwhelm a carrier group. We could lose a whole fleet. It isn't so much the loss of the ship or the loss of the men, but it's the loss of the deterrence of American military prestige that we can beat anyone's ass that dares raise a finger to us. That's how empires go down. An empire that was really bad as hell, that could just kick everybody's ass, and then one day somebody tried them. Come on, you know about bullies in Newark. Remember there was a bully, had a reputation. Everybody's just afraid, and there was one nigga, I don't care. I don't care if he beat mine. So I'm gonna make him beat mine. I'm gonna make him beat mine, but I'm gonna try to kill him. And the bully may even beat the person, but the person fought the bully's ass so hard. Tell everybody watch and say, he ain't that tough. Shit, a little Pee-wee could almost beat his ass. And you know what? Well, maybe if two of us jump his ass, he'll go down. Right? What if several countries says, well, fuck it then. Let's have a coalition. The Assyrian Empire was knocked down by a coalition. The Ottoman Empire was knocked down by a coalition. The French Empire was knocked down by a coalition. Right? Your ass can get checked. The Nazi Empire was knocked down by a coalition. You don't think the American Empire could make enough people mad? And they said, well, fuck it then. I know you go beat my ass. And that's the attitude of the Iranians. We know you go beat our ass. You know what I'm talking about. Haven't you seen a situation, brother, where people were tough and the person knew he's going to get beaten, but they wanted to fight. They were determined. You know that wars are determined by the fire in the belly. The person says, I don't care. I just want to fight. I don't care. I'm going to kill someone. I'm going to fight. I don't care what you do to me. Now, sometimes you can have fire in the belly and you don't have the firepower, like the Japs in World War II. They were trying, they just didn't have the shit. It's different. The Iranians have a lot of the stuff that in a conventional war, they could give America a run for its money. They don't have nukes. They don't have the planes. But if we put soldiers on the ground, they're going to get fucked up. If the Afghanis could fuck them up, God have mercy. If the Iraqis, whose IEDs, who taught them, the Iranians did, that this isn't going to be fun.
Hey, Dr.
And this
Short,
is a, yes,
for
sir.
the audience, I'm glad you brought that up. Explain. A lot of people think Iran, and Iraq is the same size. Explain how different these countries are.
I think Iran is either 3 or 4 times the size of Iraq. Iraq may have maybe 35, 40 million people. Iran has at least 90 million people, maybe more. And then you have to understand what has happened. Iran is supported by the Houthi, who have tens of millions of people in Yemen. They have some support in Lebanon. They have some support, and they have support in Iraq. Iraq is 60% Shia, as is Iran is at least 60, 70% Shia. The Iraqis are an Arab people. There are some Arabs in Iran, but not a lot.
You explained it in
Iranians,
the beginning. You explained in the beginning, but I don't know if a
well,
lot
then
of
people need
people.
to go back and listen
No,
to the whole
no,
show.
no, Dr. Short. Just
And
explain the the significance of Ayatollah to Shias.
okay, the Ayatollah basically is the equivalent of the Roman Catholic Pope for Catholics. He is the supreme religious political leader of the people. He literally speaks for God. He's like the Pope is for a Catholic. Killing, hurting the Ayatollah would be like someone blowing the Pope away. I, you may not like, and you talk about Catholic conspiracy or Catholic priests. Uh, let someone hurt the Pope, and you'll find that Catholics that will kill you. There's nobody they wouldn't come for. For those people who are Catholic that believe that the Pope is the vicar of God, he represents God on earth, and that touching and disrespecting his holiness is literally doing it to God. And kill him if you want. In fact, that would make him bigger because martyrdom is all of that. And the fact that he lived all these years and then they still killed him would only make him, it would make him more popular. There are some Iranians that do not like him. All of that is true. But then there are Iranians, once you get outside the big cities, that still respect this man. People seem to forget they had those little riots. But right after those riots, you had something like 20, 30 million Iranians in the street supporting Ayatollah Khomeini. These are people of their own accord that were in the streets, millions deep. People seem to forget when Ayatollah Khomeini, the previous Ayatollah, told people that they had to win against Saddam Hussein. There were people who were told that they would find God if they took plastic keys and ran through minefields. These people sent their children to clear minefields by the thousands, people. Their babies blown to bits. The Iraqis couldn't produce enough mines to kill Iranian children that would step on them willingly, so the other Iranian soldiers could come through. Hundreds of thousands, kids blown up. Iranians aren't even crying about this. We lose a kid, that motherfucker's on a carton of milk. They lose thousands and they just have another one. You can't fight
Yeah.
people. And this is the thing about Americans. A lot of Americans are just, y'all are wicked, you're stupid, you don't believe in anything, there's no God, everything's comfortable. You're in a world where you're kind of thinking it might be cool here in America because the Zionists, and I'm gonna just say it, atheistical Jews run all the culture, and they hate Christianity. They hate any religion that doesn't kiss their ass or bow down to them. That's a fact. Just because you don't believe in anything, just because there's no heaven or hell to you, there's no straight or bi or homo, there's no male or female, just because you don't have any absolutes does not mean that the persons that are willing to take your life don't. And so if someone said, you got to kill everybody across the street, God said so, they would kill you. They put they would put battery acid in your fishbowl. They'd kill your pets. They'd put salt in your garden to kill your flowers, and they would say, "God, I've done it." That isn't real for people in America because you got these fake, no good, predator, grifter preachers on television who are all about cash. The concept of faith and belief is foreign to a lot of Americans, but it is not foreign to other people who look forward to dying. When you get abused, the Israeli soldiers rape and molest you and beat you up, and you decide, I'm going to be a suicide bomber. I'm going to blow up some people for God. That's foreign to us. We think we're gods, most Americans. We think we have all the answers, and we're all depressed. We take at least 60 or 70% of the world's psychotropic and antidepressant drugs because we're so fucking smart and so special. A lot of other people believe in this stuff. They believe in what they believe in. And you cross them on what they believe religiously, they will fight you. They will fight anyone. I challenge any of you that don't believe me, make a cartoon of the Prophet of Islam. Just make a cartoon. Let it be positive. Put your name and address on it and put it up online. And, just let me know your name so I can get an insurance policy. I dare you to put what you call the Prophet, Holy Prophet of Islam up online and make fun of it, or even show respect and let people know where you are. Am I lying, Brother Quentin? Someone will find you.
Freddie Adu. Ex Freddie
They,
Adu.
they
The
will
journalist.
they will find you, and they will get anyone in your house. People have learned in Scandinavia and other places, do not joke around with people's prophets and things, because some will say they've blasphemed my religion. What is life if my God isn't honored? Let me go and kill everyone here and myself so that my holy prophet and my religion is respected. That's foreign. I'm talking about people who think people who think that if they give $100 to a liar minister, that they have some have some relationship to God. Our shallowness, our wickedness, our debaseness, our depravity, our hedonism, that everything is about erections and sex and self gratification, where a lot of Americans are. That isn't where the rest of the world is necessarily. Maybe the Europeans. I'm serious. It's the same way people talk about pedophilia and so forth. It may happen in other places, but go somewhere where people don't go for that. Like some American tourists were in Madagascar years ago, decided to have some fun with the kids. They didn't make it back. Those folks came out and killed them. And people get jacked up. I just heard in Burkina Faso, an American State Department employee messed with some underage people. His ass is in jail. People will, what America lets go, in fact, most Americans, and especially Black Americans, we're the bottom of the barrel in this. We confuse license or degeneracy with freedom. That I can have Freaknik, I can have sex on the top of an automobile in a public park. It's the same as being free when your credit redlined and you're racially profiled. You're stupid if you think so. But that's a lot of us. And I keep hearing about black folk doing dumb stuff. Black kid climbs into a white girl's window after hours and he gets shot by the father. Please don't call my ass to march for him. Should have shot him. Should shoot his mother and father too. Have some damn morality. The people
Yeah.
that were in the Underground Railroad weren't running away to be hoes and to have fans only. They weren't running away to have orgies. They weren't running away to be trans. Our people are just fucking off base. And that's why we're weak. And that's why the tethers and other people are eating us alive because we don't have anything that we're accountable on. We don't believe in anything. We don't stand for anything. Proof of that is where's the opposition to Diddy? Where's the opposition to Gay Z? Where's the opposition to the GCP taking over black music and perverting it for the last 40 years? Where's the opposition to other people getting money to do business in our community and we boycott our own people? Where's the opposition to black illiteracy? Where's the opposition to us losing whole communities? Where is it? Okay, and y'all running after Jesse Jackson. I may not wear a condom, but I am somebody. I mean, that's a leader to you.
So Dr. Short, you brought up something. Now I don't want to go too far off the topic, but you brought up something that I know you prophesized about 18 months ago. Is Tethergeddon.
Yes,
So how's that going on right now? I know you've been
well,
watching Tethergeddon in real time.
it's had a bastard child called Castigate. Castigate is a baby or a twin of Tethergeddon. Tethergeddon, which I began to celebrate, had a holy meal with one of my sisters, and that starts in October. Tethergeddon has really picked up. I just saw the rapists from Africa and other places are being deported. If you saw this month, Trump just shut down people from Nigeria coming here unless they really have their stuff together. All these African countries can't come here anymore. A lot of people from the Caribbean can't come here. Asia can't come anymore. They're being kicked out. And let me say something to you. If we halfway get some legitimate people, other than that silly ass Dick Van Dyke looking bitch that runs Homeland Security, looks like Dick Van Dyke got a big ass wig and shit. Um, Christy Nome, she's crazy. You got some serious people. A lot of folk would have to leave. And a lot of people that are lying, I don't know, I'm noticing political candidates using the word tether, like the one down in Florida who's running against Byron Donalds, and they've literally destroyed him, showing how he cheated on his little tether wife who needed to have
That he
citizenship.
used that
And
he
they,
used that strong Jamaican accent.
Mhm. Yeah, that's how he macked on that, and so they've now just about taken his ass down. People beginning to figure this out. I'm looking at the way that Trump disrespected the governor of Maryland, the dude that has a head shaped like a beluga whale, Westmore. You know, how the whales have that big knot in the head. His head's shaped just like a whale. And he's disrespected and he doesn't have presidential path because he's been against reparations. Right? I'm seeing people get dogged, people get reported. Look at how Trump came down on the Somalis. We're talking about people who just dealt with us any old kind of way. I don't wish ill to anyone, but it's people getting caught, people getting busted over the COVID money that they had no business getting. All these people that thought they were smarter than the stupid, lazy Black Americans, they themselves are now in trouble, being sent back to Haiti and everything else. And the people are up here committing crimes, and people are beginning now to let you know where they're from. They just don't say they're Black anymore,
Mm.
which is a good thing. Even the guy that got lynched in Georgia, Basinga, that's not a Black American. His ass running around, fuck Black Americans, fuck them, fuck Okada. I'm accepted. Then they hung his ass, right? And by the way, when the folk get dogged, and I'm not celebrating that, I'm just saying when they get hung or killed, you know what? There's always silence from these people. They don't go out and say nothing. They just, they, they start singing Chuck Berry. I'm so glad to be back in the USA. They don't say anything. They don't have any fight. They don't want to stand up for any justice. And so all it's going to do is embolden the racists who are really gotten out of hand to do more damage. So
So
Tethergeddon is real. And in particular, if you notice this whole law that they're looking, or bill where they're going to try to do something about voting, and if you dare vote in an election and you're not an American citizen, you could get deported. Just like what's a woman? The Haitian congresswoman down in Florida that stole all the money, stole $6 million. Ho thought she was smart, and she's in trouble. They can strip her of her citizenship and kick her out. There are a lot of people coming here doing stuff and don't understand that denaturalization is the program of the Trump administration. So Tethergeddon is here. Tethergate is here. Tethergeddon means that it's only going to get worse. And in fact, within the last 3 weeks, the government of Nigeria begged, and they got a little deal from Trump. Nigerian students and other people here on exchanges with valid everything can stay. Anyone that overstays is in trouble. On top of that, you know that they put those, they're looking, Rubio, that you have to pay a bounty. That's what they want, 5, 10, or $15,000. Remember Ruth Brown? Baby, 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 gotta have fun on. Give me 5, 10, 15 hours of your love. Right. You need 5, 10, $15,000 to bring your dusty ass here. Give me 5, 10, 15. Can you imagine Trump singing it in drag? So people have to pay to come here, and it's going to be harder and harder and harder. And so it's very interesting. Castigate, let me just get to that. Scamaswamy. I was in Ohio, and just, I think on the 5th, it was either the 4th and 5th of January, I prayed that God break the back of Scamaswamy, that little fake, nasty, grimy person. You know, uh, let me
is
tell
he
you
getting his
something.
wake up call right now too?
Oh, he went offline because I prayed that he'd come offline. I prayed that he'd be taken down in Ohio. I prayed that on the 4th and 5th of January. And on the 6th, he took down all of his social media. And I think on the following day, it turned out one of his people in his security detail, their house was like basically a narcotics pill mill. On top of that, my favorite joke is a white dude was saying that when he was talking to Ramaswamy, when he told them there was a fork in the road, he said that Ramaswamy didn't know what a fork was. And so they've come after him. They've said they don't want him. Ann Coulter, who looks a lot like Gomer Pyle. Thank you for telling him off. And this dude, Crash Patel or Cass Patel or Ass Patel, whatever you want to call him, these people have made Indian people look so dishonest and incompetent that the vitriol against this assumption that we just need someone brown that's competent to replace black people, folks are getting mad. Folks are noticing. And by the way, that dude needs some glasses. And if you saw him with the medal on, banging, drinking beer and all, trying to be a white boy, God help him. He's gonna find out he's not white. And you're just trying to fit in. You can tell that he hates himself. And even Charlie Kirk couldn't help him fit in. This
So
Epstein thing.
you guys in the chat, hit Dr. Short's Cash App up.
Yeah, treat me
Like
like
he
I'm
said,
white.
like he said in the
Eh,
beginning of the program, he's working on some things with some alternative
yeah, yeah,
alternative treatment.
yeah. We want to stay alive. And let me go
Alternative
back to
treatment.
Iran real fast. The Iranians have the wherewithal to crush Israel. Okay, that it's just the Israelis know it. That's why they're trying to drag America in. And they need to understand that the Iranians got, like, within the last couple of weeks, 1 million volunteers. 1 million. I mean, there's people that I want to fight. I need to remind people that Hezbollah turned down the offer of 600,000 foot soldiers from the Yemenis not too long ago. The Iraqis, al-Maliki, the Shia guy, is head of the Iraqi government, and they support Iran. And people need to understand places like Kuwait, depending on who you ask, Kuwait is either half Shia or just under half. And the eastern province of Saudi Arabia, where all the oil comes from, is predominantly Shia. You could really get some madness to kick off. And by the way, the Iranians are bombing all of the monarchist Arab states that kiss Israel's ass. You could get a popular movement against some of these people. So we're looking at things changing. The Gulf of Hormuz got closed today. If you heard about the guys in the Gerald Ford putting all kinds of stuff in the toilet so the ship would overrun with shit so it can't move. And I forgot to tell you that the Chinese have devoted their satellites to helping the Iranians track American ships, which also means that that will help them improve with their missiles targeting U.S. vessels on the high seas. I don't want anybody American to die. I want all of this. I've been praying, God, please, 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 no fighting. Please let there be peace. Please. But between this other stuff and the fact that the Iranians have threatened Trump about putting this stuff out there, and BB's got stuff, this had to kind of happen. There are, as a group of people, and like these stupid ass Christian Zionists, these evangelical Nazis, these people are so damn racist and hateful. The only thing they'd understand is for some of these jihadis to come and bomb and attack and like take out an AK and whack some of them inside their churches. It's the same people that supported the Black Wall Streets across this country being destroyed, Black people being dogged. So this is Judgment Day. We're seeing the white American empire, as we've known it, come into a situation where things are never going to be the same after this.
Hmm.
I'm not saying the U.S. can't beat Iran. You've never heard me say that. I'm saying it's going to be a Pyrrhic victory. Pyrrhus is a Roman general who won a battle, but it wasn't really worth the fight. Great empires often end with one key battle. The British Empire ended with the Suez Crisis in 1956, 70 years ago this year. We're now looking at Suez 26. Similar situation. It was oil and waterways. And 56, it was the Suez Canal and the British having access to oil coming. And you had Egyptian nationalism. And in this instance, you've got Iranian nationalism. It's the Gulf of Hormuz and it's oil and a waterway. And it broke France's back and Britain's back, not because the British and French couldn't kick the Egyptians in the ass. The Israelis were in this too, by the way. It was that the United States economically did not want to get involved in a war or have a lot of bullshit happen. And they refused to bail the British out economically. The United States is a debtor nation to the Chinese, to the Japanese, and to others. Other countries are already doing it, dumping U.S. treasuries and divesting themselves of things that are in America. If all the countries in the world stop dealing with the U.S. currency economically, they can blow the head off this bitch without pulling a trigger. And at some point, this happens. So the real question will be, will the Russians or the Chinese play the role that America played in 1956 in relationship to the Israelis, French, and the British? And by the way, it was all done. They conspired together. There was a lie in a meeting. the guy McMillan and Anthony Eden and the French guy whose name I forget had these secret illegal meetings, same way Trump had the secret illegal meeting with Netanyahu and they had these other meetings. We're looking at that. And the question will be, how many American people are going to feel good if their children start coming home in boxes for some crazy ass Jews that like raping kids and putting up TikToks? What is that what it's all about? Is that God's will for folks who run with Epstein and want to eat babies that we got to die for them? And that's um at some point I know I can see the difference. Uh the white American public is close to having a meltdown. Marjorie Taylor Greene and other people, Massey, these people beginning to say, we're tired of shit. We thought we were going to have a better country. We thought there wouldn't be wars. We thought, and if they can't get shit and you're cutting everybody's welfare, as I always said, I've never seen anybody get a Klan robe out of a bucket of chicken and eat it. You can't eat hate, white supremacists. Even though hate's kept y'all unified, you're going to have real shit with this big, beautiful bill that cuts all the services. White folk in lots of broke ass places in the country, they won't even be able to afford the trailers and shit that they're in. Okay. Who's going to pay for the meth then? Who's going to buy all the little date rape drugs and shit and the Red Bull and the Rolling Rock? Where's the money going to come from when all these social benefits that they assume black people get, that whites have been getting, get slashed? I mean, you could burn up every black community in this country. It will not put a steak on your table.
Mm.
All the white farmers being destroyed by Trump's tariffs thing, where now the Chinese buy shit from South America instead of soybeans, little crusty, nasty people in Arkansas who blindly support every stupid ass thing that people do. How does that work? And then the other question back to Castigate. There's no way that J.D. Vance, with this little Hindu broad, is going to be president of this country. So there's going to be an interesting midterm this year. I don't think it'll be so much a blue wave, but I think enough will happen to weaken the MAGA coalition. And we're going to see impeachment, all kinds of shit come out. I also think that same way the white guy wanted to attack Mar-a-Lago, another little white boy crashed out, tried to take out the Hoover Dam out in Nevada. As certain people's, what's that term that my dear friend from Sweden had, the hold on, I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to get this word. The cognitive dissonance bubble of white supremacy is about to bust. And saying kill niggas won't put the bubble back together. And if you know anything about the history of this country, when white folk really get mad, some of them just don't want to fight and hurt black folks that aren't in the way. They'll go after white people. I foresee suicides, mass shootings, more domestic terrorism, political assassinations, strikes, and things that had never happened before from people who feel like they have nothing to lose. I see people attacking right-wing white politicians, go to the town hall and folk almost kill them and they can't go. I see them needing to like bring people out to try to make people go back to the hate nigga plantation. I didn't say I hate niggas, but I don't want to be on the plantation. I sort of want my own place. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun being black, watching other people find out that they're niggas too. It's kind of cool. It's like, wow, come in, the water's fine. And in fact, the water's segregated, stay on your side, right? I don't want your hair on me. That should stick like dog fur. Look, it's really going to be wild. So, and by the way, the Iranians haven't even used their good stuff. They're doing that Jesus, if you heard the story of him making water into wine, and the people said he saved the best liquor for last. They did that on the 12 days. They saved their best missiles for the last few days. I think they're going to let people do what they have to do. I think each time the U.S. or Israel bomb a school, they've killed over 100 children, most of them girls. All that's going to do is unite people behind the government. I believe when Khamenei comes out and people see him, it's going to gank people up. These people think that they're going to do with Iran what they did with Hezbollah. It's a different situation. On top of that, this situation right now, the emergency has allowed them to find even more traitors. The biggest problem Iran has is traitors. Some of them young people, some of them are greedy. The communists used to call them foreign currency prostitutes. We call them sellouts, boule, bougie. Every people have traitors, fifth columnists, people that work against their survival. The good thing is that the Iranians punish them. A free people hate their traitors and their turncoats and are merciless towards them. A slave people make celebrities out of their traitors, turncoats, and betrayers. And that's why I would say black people are slaves. We're happy slaves. Kanye's right. We've chosen slavery. I'm hoping that the circumstances occur where more and more people start wanting freedom. I'm not talking about hating anyone. I'm not talking about taking a bomb or a stick. I'm talking about respecting oneself, not thinking that I need to spend my money on brand name cigarettes, beer, liquor. I'm running after the ugliest, toothless white woman I can find, or the most violent white dude that I would deny poured battery acid on my face like these dumbass hoes who are getting killed, chopped up, beaten, set on fire by white men. And they're saying, well, at least he's not black. Get out of this fucking greener grass psychosis. People are people. They're good black folk, they're bad black folk. They're good white folk, they're bad white folk. But here's a contradiction, black men and women. You pick a sorry ass woman, then you have a sorry ass woman. You want a bad boy, dumbass black holes, and you're with the bad man. If he beat everybody else's ass, why wouldn't he kick yours? Don't tell me about sexism or domestic violence. You picked him. Okay. You get a pit bull, that motherfucker's likely to bite almost anybody, no matter how you raise it. That's its nature. And if you try to go along to get along with the white supremacist culture, you end up getting genocided. The Iranian people, at least under the current leadership, don't want to give up their only thing of deterrence, which is their missiles. They need to hold on to it. Black people's only deterrent is economic power, which we refuse to use. Cultural power, we refuse to use. So anyway, if you got questions, I got a few more minutes.
Anybody got any questions for Dr. Short? Couple minutes left. A couple statements here. Someone said another huge win for Trump.
Well, he's saying that. Is that an old white dude who's an armchair person who
I don't
probably
know.
needs this? Okay. It's not a win for Trump. It's a loss for America. I thought America first, but you know what? I get it. People are so hateful. As long as they see people that they perceive as non-white getting blown up, they think it's good. But the world is an interesting place. In fact, Iranians are white people, most of them. But they convinced these racist people here that Iranians look like they're from Congo. That just shows the power of the Zionist media to make certain people be something that they're not. If you've seen Khamenei looks like a whole bunch of white folk I know here. He ain't black, but if you can just get in people's mind that this person isn't white, they deserve what they get. Um, that same person that put that thing up there, when his gas for his ugly Chevy or American made car is $10, $15 a gallon, and he probably lives in a remote ass area where when they have a disaster and they can't get shit to you, call it a victory then. In fact, it's always when you have these natural disasters, you have the people that want to live off the grid. The only grid they want to live on is the grid of white supremacy. They want to live off the other grid. Then when there's a natural disaster, everybody's supposed to save their separatistic asses. It may not happen. Trump didn't help the people in North Carolina, let them get fucked up. And they were all people that voted for him. Okay, I mean, this isn't even an anti-Trump conversation. I agree with Trump on certain things, but this war, it's not a good thing. His generals are saying it. We're talking about racist, redneck, white generals that want all of us in the gas chamber think this is a bad war. But you get a racist moron who simply wants to have an opinion different from someone black. You know what? I know what I tell him. Suicide is bad, sir. Suicide is bad. Watch him go blow his brains out just because he wants to be against anything he hears a black person say. So suicide is terrible and nobody should do it, especially nobody white. Should hurt themselves. You should live a long life. You should respect yourself. And he'll just do his little gang, counter gang, checkerboard thing, white, black. If a black person says suicide's bad, let me blow my brains out. In fact, let me kill my whole family.
With that, we're going to close out.
Sick.
And, you know, this has been a great conversation, Dr. Short, for your commentary, analysis. For someone that has been in Iran, a lot of people will talk about a place and try to give their opinion, and not saying that their opinion is wrong or right, but you've seen how Iranians is. You've seen the opposition in Iran, that people who oppose the government still be treated fair without censorship, even though here in the land of the free, we know how the censorship treats their own citizens. So appreciate you coming on, Dr. Short, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you again very soon.
And you know what, brother? You know what? I'll tell you this before you go. People need to be very, very clear. A lot of the people that will be doing the shooting of the American masses, because I ain't going to no protests, a lot of them are going to be others or honorary white folk, like the ones who shot the people up in Minnesota. Nobody black shot the white lady. Nobody black shot the white male nurse. For all the racists out there, your biggest enemy is you. Black folk aren't fighting you. Not that that's going to make you like us. I understand. You exist to hate our guts. But you know what? Hatred has a way of killing you. And so when we look at the new gonorrhea and we look at the new fungus ringworm that's sexually transmitted, when we look at the new drugs that are sweeping West Pennsylvania and other areas predominantly inhabited by white folks who can't stand black people, you know, demographically, you know, you guys have gone down harder than Kamala Harris at a frat party. Y'all need to take a look at yourselves. Okay, I'm out, brother.
What have you done for me lately? It's coons. What have y'all done for us lately? And if there's no answer, you know, the only thing we owe them.
you.